Now, the problem on the vehicle for having oversteer or understeer phenomena when the vehicle vehicle's engine is either located in the front or rear side. Well, it is in the front side, and the steering happens only in the front side wheel. When the steering happens on both front side two wheels and rear side two wheels, all four wheels are in operation, it cannot move because it cannot make a linear movement. All those wheels are just in the angles, not vertical. Okay, not vertical, but having angles. Like imagine four wheels are in parallel, it cannot move. Okay, unless those axles are in buoyancy, having all the three axes direction, it does not have any linkages. It cannot move because it is a 2D. It is connected to the gear. It cannot have a 3D movement. So either one side, meaning front or rear, only have to be adjustable for its steering, but the other one, either front or rear, has to be in just linear form. It has to just follow, okay, for the other one's direction. For all four wheels are changeable for its direction, the vehicle cannot move because there is no alignment of tires, no alignment of circles to go in certain direction. 차륜의 정렬이지 그게 안 된다는 거야. For all tires directions are not having any common alignment that the vehicle cannot move on any proposed direction. 자, 차동기어. I don't know by what English words does it refer, but for its essence analyzation, it is a gear that compensates one angle's differentiation by the another angle's differentiation for when it goes on the track, and that is a circular having a curvature, not linear, all curvature movements because the left and right side of a wheel has a distance in each other. When it goes left turn, right wheels are going much larger angle, and in reverse in opposite direction, meaning going right turn, right direction of curvature, the left wheel makes more revolution, makes more turning compared to the right one, having a small angle, small circumference compared to longer circumference, wider the angle. Small circumference, longer circumference on each, having small, narrower angle and wider angle. It happens when the one goes in curve movement, so the variation on one side's angle has to be compensated with the others as to make the revolution count in feet. When the movement goes evenly distributed 50 to 50 on both sides, but when it goes curve, one side goes excess revolution that it doesn't need, and the other side goes smaller revolution, fewer revolution than what it really is needed. So on these angles, they vary from 10 degree, 15, 30, 45, 60 degrees to have a circular movement. On those angles, as it angles widen, so does the differentiation of those angles and circumference of those left and right side of wheels rise, meaning when the curvature happens, let's see, going left side, going left wheel having lower circumference, and right side having longer circumference. So it has to revolve more for compensating and making stability on its movement. differentiating for those circumference, meaning per rotations that are needed, is compensating gear. Yeah. For fitting the required revolution as the angle goes wider, so does the difference gap of circumference from left to right wheel go widen, so it has to be adjusted in wider angle, longer revolution, having a big difference, more bigger difference when it's gap. We're having different revolutions. Smaller angle on the left side, left curvature, the right wheel goes only like 10% more revolution than the left one, but rather steeper angle, more curved. The right wheel has to have more longer circumference, meaning faster revolution per minute is needed. Having more powers imparted to the right axle is important, and while doing so, diminishing down the left wheel's speed is imperative. So without the need to have any electronic devices that can sense and adjust on its angle, just analog is just needed. When the angle changes, so does the internal gear's angle changes, and as it changes, per change, it automatically links, the differentiating gear automatically links to the differentiating angle that has to distribute from left to right for revolutions that are needed in each. Just a single mechanic, single gear, a few parts of gear will do the job. No electronic sensors are needed. As the angle changes, so does the gear's distribution changes. So we have to design that structure. Before I just said, because the wheels of a vehicle is 2D, not 3D, it can only go back and forth, not left and right, just back and forth, which is just the linear movement possible. So on that 2D wheels, having all four wheels, meaning back and front, both possible to adjust their angle, doesn't make any alignment of wheels to go in a certain direction. When the having a curved, very curved route, like going up or down the mountain hill with a vehicle, having extreme right circle going right on the front wheel, but going also right on the rear wheel, it doesn't match the linear motion. The movement will be just dissipated to the other direction. Those needless frictions will occur. What I'm now saying is not having a needless parallel angle, okay? It is not parallel, but reverse parallel, okay? Reverse parallel. When the reverse parallel happens, and when the motion is distributed independently, for the front engine goes front side and the rear engine goes totally dedicated on the rear wheel. So 2 engines, front two wheels, okay, rear engine, back 2 wheels, rear 2 wheels. And when it goes, front wheel goes steering steep, and the rear wheel goes steering steep to left side, okay? Reverse parallel. On going top mountain, just a right curved course. Right side on the front and left side on the rear. It can make the alignment, although it has a curvature, it is not severed. Its power distribution, its trajectory of movement is not severed like parallel. Okay, front parallel, rear parallel, it cannot move, but front parallel, rear reverse parallel, it can make a curvature. Okay, so going right curved, front wheel goes right, turns right, and the left wheel and the back wheels goes turning left. It can go. Okay. The circulation for its maneuverability on the extreme curvature will be enhanced. When there are two engines independently dedicated on front and back engine, each of which going front two wheels, back two wheels respectively, meaning those power distribution, those gears are separated, not affected by the movement of other side. Front wheel goes left when having a left curvature, as exactly what the one had done. But the rear wheel can move independently on the right side having a curvature from right to left, that whose trajectory exactly matches with that of the road that the vehicle is going to do. So even though the speed wouldn't be, in terms of speed, wouldn't be good, but on the angle, in a 360 degrees of angle, it would be very faster on its turning. Okay, turning. And on the problem of centrifugal forces, when the vehicle goes on the front, right or left curvature, as the curvaturosity, what do you call? The rate of curvature goes steeper, so does the centripetal and fugal forces difference gap goes widen, meaning more instability on its operation. And when the engine is either located on the front side, bonnet, what do you call? On the front wheel, it goes having much more weight compared to the rear side, and also it is where the wheel is having a curvature, and it only has a bigger, heavier curvature, having more centripetal force. But on the rear side, it doesn't have weight as much as the front wheel has, so it does not make enough angles for what the front wheel did. In exact opposite, when the engine is located in rear side, the front wheel goes angle, and the rear side, having much more weight, goes centripetal force, going much steeper. It makes over angle steering. Okay, when the engine is located in the front side of the vehicle, it goes under fewer angle, shallower angle steering, smaller angle steering, because the engine is dedicated preponderantly on the front side. Only front will move, but the rear angle cannot rear wheel cannot have the same angle as the front wheel did. So having under angles, those are just a meaningless problem. Having weight distributed because the friction matters, and to withstand, literally withstand the centripetal force when it goes revolving, circulating around for its trajectory. When each and every time section of its movement, it has a tendency, has an inertia, going directional line as it goes. So it has to be compensated by forcing it to the oriented trajectory, meaning it has to withstand, resist the power of centripetal force as to overcome the centripetal force when curvature. It has to have more friction to go, okay? Maneuverability. More friction, meaning more weight, and more weight is distributed evenly from front and back, and having more weight, it goes on the faster speed, curvature more, on even not a faster speed, curvature performance goes up. Having more friction, meaning having more weight, and more weight are evenly distributed, is very important. Engines are located either front or rear side because the man goes inside on the center, okay? When man goes on the front side, okay? On the front side, like having vehicle having a length of 10 meter, we say 10 meter, but when the man goes not in the 3 to 7 meter middle side, but the man having a seat in the 1 to 3 meter, 1/3 of its first proportional side, and 3 to 10 is made from all the concentration of parts and engines. Its maneuverability goes evenly distributed compared to the man sitting on the front side, sitting on the middle side. Sports cars are having their engines in the center of their vehicle. The heaviest part are in the center, and sports cars do not have the second seat on its back, having a driver and its next one, only 2 seats on the back seat it doesn't have, because it is the rear side is the center of mass, center of vehicle's gravity. It has to be located by the heaviest part, the engine. Reason of why the engine goes in the center of a sports car and having much more weight compared to the other vehicles, meaning let's say the sports car compared to the ordinary marketable vehicles are having a weight, is having 70% more weight on the sports car, and its weight is distributed evenly on all the 4 wheels, meaning the sports car is very stable, and its height is comparatively low compared to the other vehicles, meaning it is very stable. Sports car is very stable on its movement. When having a fast speed, its center of mass has to be as lower as possible, as Tesla motors batteries, the heaviest part, like corresponding to the engine, batteries and the converter from DC to AC, is located beneath of a seat, meaning far lower on the vehicle's entire height, far lower and far center, meaning more stability on its movement. Reason of why sports car has a comparatively lower height and more weight, as to have a more friction and wider wheel, and its engines are located at the center. No back seats, okay? Back seats spaces are seated by the engine having engine the heaviest part on the center and lower the height. Okay, lower the height, the heaviest one at the center, and widen the wheel. More weight, more friction, more angle, more stability. Yes, that is reason of why sports cars are designed as such. And I've said, when the man is seated on the 1/3 or the rear 3/3 side, not 2/3 in the middle of a vehicle, either very front or very behind, and the center is located by the heaviest parts, engine, its stability would be much larger, would be much stabilized, because as sports car does by locating the seater, the man on the rather front side, and on right its back is seated by the heavier boys, having more stability on its movement. And when the man sits on the middle section of a vehicle, meaning the front and back has to be evenly distributed for its parts weight. Okay, so having no trunk, no storage spaces, but engines are made on the front and back both, meaning two engines. Okay, two engines are made, two engines, front and back, and front engine only dedicates on that two wheels on the front, the exact opposite on the back engine, rear wheels dedicated. When the vehicle moves and on the curvature, its performance goes greater by not having any empty spaces for the capacity of trunk. Its weight distribution is more stable, and when its vehicle's height goes more down, okay, it is very stable, as much as sports car has. So when it goes left, the front wheel goes left and the rear wheel goes right. Okay, so it can, the front left wheel goes left to parallel slowly, and right wheel and the back wheel goes right to left slowly. Okay, left to parallel, right to left to parallel. So the angle for in just numbers, when the front on the previous vehicle that normally did its what I call the angle, just angle for 30 degrees in this vehicle, it is distributed front wheel 15 degrees, rear wheel 15 degrees, so has two engine, different independent axles on front and back side, meaning it is halved. The angle, total angle is halved. Okay, so its stability goes much greater. Okay, like a Formula One cars, when those are designed, two wheels front and back, and going on the circuits that are having a steep curvature, what I call extreme curvature, widen angle, it has to turn steeply, dramatically. So when it goes 50 degrees to have, 50 degrees and 70 degrees, even 100 degrees, over 90 degrees to have, when it says 110 degrees, front wheel goes only 55 degree, left wheel goes only 55 degree. Yeah. Oh yeah. But the speed has to happen when all four wheels are aligned in a linear direction. So, so, yeah. When it goes on the angle, its performance is higher, but yeah, meaning the time at which the alignment of our four wheels are in the linear direction is much shorter on the two engine boys, meaning it has more earlier chance to accelerate. So that that is a more that is a better vehicle. Yeah, having two engines. Yeah, and the weight that are distributed evenly makes no problem of having oversteering, understeering. Those are just meaningless problems because those are made by having the preponderating, unproportionate, uneven weight distribution from front and back. The engine that is located on the front, the engine that is located on the back. What on the what are the other side? It is just the empty space of having trunk. The vehicle proportional on its volume, having larger space of trunk for capacity is more vulnerable because it has more preponderating proportion from the engine and the empty space, meaning when it turns, it is very low. It is very having low chance. The freight vehicles, okay? Freight vehicles, they are having their bloody engine, okay? Bloody biggest engine on the front side, like a container vehicle. Container is like a 20 meter, okay? But on the driver's seat, it has like 4 meter, including the engine. When the 4 meter for its front is having the most, okay? Weights, and when it has no container, it is very vulnerable, and when it has a container, it is rather stable, okay, rather stable, because those are evenly distributed, and having 1 tons, 2 tons, 3 tons, 5 tons middle-sized freight carriers, for those vehicles, those are exactly the same replica but a miniature form of those. Engines are primarily on the front side, meaning those stability is very like 70% on its space from the axis point of X is empty, and the 30% is very dense by the engine. It is very bloody unstable, and its center of mass goes high because I assume the wheel size has to be larger to build to compensate the weight. Wheel size are larger, meaning more height, meaning more higher center of mass, and even doing so, when it doesn't carry a freight, its weight is very unstable compared to sports car, which has low height, and more weight are distributed on the widened wheels, and more weights are evenly distributed, and is having a center, okay, center and low. That is very good. Just imagine Formula One cars are having very lower height, and the driver is not going left side or right side or left rear side or right rear side. The driver sits on the center of all four wheels on the intersecting point. It has the engine on his right back, on the man's right back. It is exactly like the sports car, reason of why Formula One car having widened wheel. Its wheel is very widened, okay? Widened wheel and lower height, center of mass. It has more stability, okay? More stability. So the problem of having the engines predominantly on the front side or rear side making respectively understeering and oversteering is meaningless because it has a trunk, a space that can capacitate the other uh, objects on the vehicle. So one side, either front or back, is having a bloody vacancy filled by just light air, okay? Very light air. And the other side, biggest iron boys, meaning the engine and the air having not very uneven distribution of its weight. So does the friction which makes the understeering and oversteering. I don't like it. So for 30 minutes of this recording, I just was confused by not having an appropriate words to exactly delineate the analysis to record. So in summary, those ignorant problems for having understeering and oversteering happens because the engine, which is the biggest, heaviest part of a vehicle, is located on either the extreme front or extreme back side of a vehicle. When there is no driver, okay, no seat, and the engine for only just having a riding, engine is evenly distributed from front to back. It's just a option, or just engine is going in the center. The oversteering or understeering would be in the very least minimized for the maximized logic. Okay, in theoretically it would be very minimized. So when there is a rider, computer has a seat, it has two, either in the front side or the back side, only leaving the most important and heaviest part called engine, internal combustion or other electric or other type of power sources, and the processor is an engine from the raw material, from the energy to the motor to transform its energy's potency for its power. It is a processor, like there is a processor as a CPU in a laptop. There is a processor of an energy called engine. Those main processor engine is located, has to be in the center and the most lowest height, okay? Having a center of mass closer to the center and going lower attached to the ground, its maneuverability goes higher, okay? So the engine has to be lower and has to be center. And when there is a boy seated on the center, the engines first having no trunk having a capacitor for objects, leaving in vacant when there is no object to capacitate, no object, just having a light air, okay? When there's a light air and the engine having a preponderating weight distribution, meaning there is no even weight distribution. So when the vehicle having trunk, rear, engine, front, what the abrasion rate of a wheels would be? The front will have more abrasion because it counterweights by more engine, more weight engine, and the rear wheel is just flying just because it has just air counterweight. So as to have a longer durability, twice the durability. So repair cycle of tire, twice, double, meaning its abrasion level has to be distributed on not either front or back side, but on the both side, all for four wheels are evenly distributed for its weight and having lower center of mass, going engines located on the center, like Lamborghini, like Formula One car. It has to be, okay? Formula One car and Lamborghini's wheel is just widened because compared to their volume, its tire, what do you call, facing surface area, tire facing surface area to the road, its proportion is going much larger because more surface area, more stability, and more friction. More surface area, more stability, more friction. Tire widens, it's great. Tire widens, it's great. Yeah. Engines, meaning the energy processor, the most important and heaviest part, has to be located on the lowest and centerest part of a centerest location, okay, of a vehicle. Distributing its weight, meaning directly to friction, goes all four vehicles, all four wheels in just exact quarter, okay, like half quarter, going more evenly. More friction, more weight, more even distribution, going more. So there is no problem of having such ignorant. Formula One car does great compared to the other commercial boys because it has widened wheels, low center of mass. Center of mass engines are going in the center, the boy, man, and the engine is directly located in the intersection of a vehicle of four wheels. Those are in their structure is very good, very good. So Formula One car doesn't have any trunk to capacitate for any things. When it doesn't, it has to have a vacant space. Vacant space meaning nothing, but a hindrance. So, having no trunk, sports car is having very, comparatively, very, very, what do you call it? Less volume compared to its weight and volume to the other commercial boys, because having more larger volume of vacant filled with air, only air, is having uneven distribution of weight, okay? So virtually no vacant space is needed, even though it is not an ideal vehicle for having a carrier freighter. So, yeah, the question on why the bicycles, meaning motorcycles, is having round-shaped wheel, but the other boys, four wheels cars are having no round shaped, because it's just 422. Yeah, two wheels are just having one directional axle, so it can move simultaneously back and rear on this specific direction without having a parallel problem, okay? So it is possible for shifting the angle more swiftly, because it only has two angle and no next wheels, even though the stability is going much shallower, much lower, and the four wheels having round shaped, so exactly the motorbike's wheel is attached on the four-wheel vehicle. It cannot move because when it goes turning, all four wheels, meaning left and right, has to go exactly same. But yeah, when it has a centripetal force, it cannot lean on either side. Motorcycles can lean on the other side, but the vehicle cannot lean because it has two axes, okay? Two axes, meaning it has to make a center on the axis, on the halved location of that width from the left to right wheel. It has to be located in the halved width, so it cannot lean onto either left side or right side, meaning when it has a centripetal force, the vehicle just capsizes, just subversion, makes a subversion, okay? So having widen wheels, meaning more friction attachments on the ground on four-wheel vehicles is imperative, because having the round-shaped wheel does exist because its vehicle having round-shaped wheel, it can change its angle of wheel, okay? Can change its angle of wheel, going right, going left, like a decanting liquid. It has a gradient, it has a slope, and it can make a steep angle while on it's going on. So yeah, even though when it goes more leaning steeper, the closer to the smaller circumference, so it has to run more revolution per minute. Uh, Without that fact, its curving maneuverability is surpassing to the other four-wheel vehicles because of its structure. Okay, it has one axis, four wheels, two axles. Okay, two axes, meaning those axes is just a parallel. So when it maneuvers in having a angle, it has to be halved. Its center of mass has to be halved. The motorcycle's center of mass is just that one linear line, but the four-wheel vehicle center of mass is the halved side. Okay, halved like a Christ's crucifix having an intersected point. Yeah, from the x-axis and y-axis on its cross point, intercrossing point. That intersecting point is the center of mass on a four-wheel vehicle. So it has to go on narrower, okay? Narrower from its extreme left and right side, go to exact half. So having the round wheels as motorcycles to have an angle, it doesn't match because it cannot have an angle, okay? When it goes left, so does the right wheels has to follow, and since the right wheel cannot levitate towards the left, well, it can theoretically, but in commercial road, it's just a magic, okay? So the right wheel and left wheel has to attach for the stability. The stability of a four-wheel much surpasses than the other two-wheel points. So the four-wheel having a demerit point of maneuvering in angles, but a stability point in maneuvering all the directions for its safety. So like a 6 wheels, 8 wheels, yeah, having more stability when its weight distribution is more even, and having x and y axis length is evenly distributed close to the square. Yeah, not just a train, but fat, dense vehicle having cores inside, it is more stable. Yeah. So on four wheels, reason of why it has flattened wheel, okay? Because it cannot make a angle swiftly. It has two axes. So design cars for having lower height. I don't know what the exact Lamborghini's weight is, but Lamborghini's weight is at least 10% to 20% shorter than the other commercial boys. And compared to the 1 ton, 2 ton boys, it is like twice shorter, okay? So its center of mass is low, its height is low, and its engine, the heaviest part, is not located neither the extreme front nor back side, but in the center. Center of mass, center and low, and going aerodynamic, also having more flattened tire, having comparatively proportionately less space for trunk is the recipe for making high performance cars like Lamborghini. I don't know in Ferrari, but I don't know other boys. But in Formula One car, it exactly reflects the center of mass is located right in the intersection point, is where both the driver and the engine sits on. Okay, so it has center of gravity center located at center, and lower. Its height is very low, like under 1 meter, and comparatively larger surface friction area widen the wheel. I love it. It is just a structure. Yeah. So in aggregate, vehicles have to be designed as exactly the Formula One car and Lamborghini for its commercial. Yeah. The reason for having an inception of 45 minutes of this recording is from the South Korea's EBS in Korean 뭐라고 이 씨발 국어 university admittance exam, and from that problem of having ignorant understeering and oversteering vehicles proportional to the engine's location on either front or rear side has created me for imagining the other high-performance vehicles which arrived by the imagination that the Lamborghini and Formula One car is, for its structure, lower center and going center of its gravity mass and having much more friction area by the widened tire is deduced, is inference arrived to be an answer, and that exact criterion was exactly reflected on the Lamborghini and Formula One car. I discovered that Formula One car is having a great one. All the great merits for having stable cars are reflected on that Formula One car. And the Lamborghini, compared to the other commercial vehicles, is having more stability, lower height, center of mass, more friction area, aerodynamics, on having higher speed. Its maneuverability is more safer, having more stability. I love it. And it was questioned, it was asked on ChatGPT for the voice of Soul, American voice, I think. Soul. So it explained well. And in text ChatGPT, it explained better. As all of those objects and its phenomena are just a mere interaction of informations that are consisting of that object or phenomena. Just those informations as a constituent of those systems, structures are having an interaction, meaning a connection between and among of those. Having a connections, interactions on the structure, making a new network, making a new system by the basic elements as a constituent to make another. But the advancement of knowledge, advancement of network is made from analyzing those what really is an interaction as an example of structures, as a sample of those networks, the reference of those examples, systems. You analyze deep down into each and every structures of any system, its logic, and create new one from knowing the basic elements, create new structure, more advanced network from the previous state of structure. So from the analyzation of structure for any systems, and you make the basic informations analyzed out of it as a reference, as an example, as a sample, and from the application, from that point on, you make new connections, make advanced networks. That is exactly what the advancement of knowledge is made by the accumulation of knowledges. So, structure, system, any one, a logic system. Those are just examples, mere interactions, mere connections. Examples, samples, as being just a reference, and go deep down, analyze it, basic element, make out of it, and create the new connections for what had not been connected yet on those examples. For what already had been made, create new one, diverse one, advanced network. Like level 3 structure is what is only in existence, and go analyze it and make level 4 structure. Make your own network. And the analyzation, the more accurate, the more deep the analyzation is, the more advanced the network is. Now there are just like a small points. The one can use the unit of planet, star, satellites, other dusts, belts, meteorites, small boys, comets, and other boys. What are those? Just varying mass, varying magnitude. Okay, suns are boys, big boys, star boys, and planet boys, satellite boys, more smaller units of boys. But when irrelevant for the specific names that are given onto each of those different magnitudes, it is just a superposition of gravity. Gravity, the bigger boy in the galaxy, having a big boy like a gigantic black hole in the center of the galaxy, and those adjacency having bigger units are revolving around of it, and the rather smaller ones than the second one is revolving around of it. Third one revolving the second one. Fourth one revolving on the third one. Fourth one revolving on the third one. Gravity is having a superposition from the first biggest one to the second biggest one, revolving the first, third biggest one, revolving the second, and also while revolving the first, because the 2 is having 1, okay? Fourth, revolving third, while also doing revolving second, because 3 is doing 2, and while doing so, revolving also 1. Gravity, superposition, orbit, superposition. Isn't that funny? Just a gravity's mere play. Biggest boy? What the biggest boy? Biggest boy, either it can make a rotation, self-rotation, but not make a revolution around the something unless there is another bigger boy, okay? If that is the biggest boy on that space, on that realm, on that region, it is the one and only sole static one that stands still. Either it can, even though it can rotate itself, but not revolve because there's no bigger boys around it. So rotation, but no revolution is the first one. Second one goes around, revolving, revolution on this around the first one. Third one revolving around the second one, while doing so, also revolving the first one because second is doing so. Fourth one revolving third one, but while doing so, having second and first one simultaneously. Having a fifth one going 4, 3, 2, 1, 4 others for its gravitational pull, and having multiple constituents are included around that system of revolution. Gravity is making a superposition. Isn't that just funny? Biggest boy, second, third, fourth, 5, 6, 7, 8. Revolving on the upper side, preceding boy. 9 to 8, 8 to 7, 7 to 6, 6 to 5, to 4, 3, to 1. Reduction by 1, making a one step of bigger unit, revolving around that higher unit by the gravitational pull, and those are just it. Holy bloody hell. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, going around which is going also round, 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 which is going also round. Having a biggest boys to the smallest boys, if that is having a sequence of 100 count from 0 to 100, it makes a 100 revolution, 100 different kind of revolution by this superposition of pull of gravity, make a 100 different circles, okay? 100 different revolution connected all around, making a sequence of bloody circles, 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 superposed orbits, making intricate circles. 100 sequence of revolution. You imagine 100 sequence of revolution. So 100 circles in sequence in revolution. 100 different circles, different orbits, different cycle of revolution. Isn't that just something interesting less? 100 different circles for its revolution have a different period, having a superposed as a sequence, having a different period, meaning different speed, is of no matter but the gravitational pull, as there is 100 other cheese balls. The cheese balls are connected by each of those gravitational pull on each other interactions and making a chain of revolution, chain of circles. How is that amazing? Chain of fucking revolution. And when the revolution happens in the vertical form, making another axis, it goes spiral, like a spiral line of a gun. It goes exactly like that trajectory as Earth does right now. Let's go again. 100 different cheese balls, meaning 100 different revolutions. For its diameter and its revolution speed, it does not matter actually, having different circles. So, by the chain of a force, the force makes the concatenation, cascadal chain of 100 circles by the name of gravity. Circles are connected, interconnected around by the connector. Okay, connector as the name of gravity, and those revolutions are superposed on each other. I love it. That is just a fucking God's play. Okay, 100 different planets, 100 different circles, revolutions. Those are chained across, having a sequence by the name of gravity and having a superposed simultaneously revolution. Oh, bloody hell. When there is another layer, either it be located front or back, 101 circles chained by the name of gravity, having a sequence and go revolution around. Gravity, sequence, okay? Gravity, sequence, chain, revolution. Making different circles chained by the name of gravity, making revolution superposed but in sequence, having revolutions simultaneously on 100 different others. Oh. And if there is a vertical orbit, you make the vertical orbit going a spiral, having x-axis and y-axis superposed all at the same time. Your trajectory not only goes in 2D, but also another 2D plus 2D in one space, having 3D, having a spiral bullet trajectory, literally. Bullet trajectory. Earth is a gigantic bullet. Yes, that is true. Okay. Because sun not only rotates but revolves around the bigger unit. 100 different circles chained by the gravity. revolving at the same time in sequence to the other. Okay, let's make a summary. 100 different cheese balls. Okay, 100 different spheres. 100 different spheres having 100 different revolutions, or 99 revolutions, because there's a biggest boy who doesn't make a revolution. 100 different sphere, 99 different revolution, chained by the sequence, name of gravity. Hundred spheres, 99 revolutions. For those revolutions are superposed by chains sequenced by gravity and making simultaneously affecting in each other. Sequence by gravity. Okay? Rings are chained as a sequence of gravity. Those rings are a orbit making revolutions. Revolutions are chained, 100 chained as a sequence by the force of gravity, simultaneously revolves. Intricate, not intricate, but just a superposition. One upon the other upon the another one, to the other, one another upon the another. And when there is an orbit that goes in exact vertical axis, vertical angle to the other, having A, when there the other is in X, you are Y, the different vertical axis. And when those X and Y orbits are superposed, you are going a spiral bullet-like trajectory, okay? The big sphere like a bullet, big bullet is having an exact trajectory as bullet does, as bullet is. Oh, bloody hell. Rings of revolutions. 100 rings of revolutions are connected, chained as a sequence of gravity, and doing simultaneously, revolving simultaneously, superposing in each other, interacting in each other, interference in each other, intersecting in each other, having a trajectory on either of those, having a different vertical trajectory to the other, combined 2D circular and another 2D circular in the same space, 3D, having a spiral. I love it. That is a gigantic trajectory, gigantic orbit. So, and even those like a spring-like trajectory, 3D trajectory, goes another 2D, meaning you imagine just exactly extend the spring from linear to just circle like a donut, okay? Spring that is just a linear, and have it extend, okay? Have this spring extend, spiral form of the spring, linear to extend, and match the one end to the other end to face and make a circular connection, even though it is itself a 3D trajectory. Those are in 2D also. More superposition, okay? That is the exact same logic for the one when the one makes a research on the name of dimension. Dimension is superposed, having more complexity, is the essence of higher dimension. Lower dimension is superposed and making higher dimension, that is the complexity, that is what the higher number of dimensions, complexity possible. As those are and all are simple units are combined, making an application having more complex structures. Those dimension numbers are going up, but if it really is, and it really actually is, just is a combination of simpler structural forms. Basic constituents are combined as those atoms to molecules to cells to organs to bodies to society to nation to world to the unit single unit of a universe to okay going higher unit. Okay, you make your colony. Okay, so from this the unit of just gas and dust and ice, the what comets, satellites, planets, stars, big boys, black holes, neutron stars, white dwarfs. For what? Black dwarfs? No. Units are having the gravity as its mass makes, as its density makes. The mass is a combination of volume and density. Volume literally means almost nothing. The density of that inside the volume makes the mass. So, not a combination of volume and density, just having a mass, okay? First, mass means just an actual quantity, actual weight, okay? Actual weight. Mass, actual, unconditional weight, okay? Unconditional weight. Having 100 spheres. First one, the biggest, heaviest. Second, rather smaller. Third, smaller to the 100th end. First to the 100, making 99 circuits of revolution. And even those chains, each of those chains, those circles, revolution orbits are chained in a sequence, as a sequence by gravity. Chain, orbit, like the 5 rings of an Olympic. It is exactly like that. Revolution, chained to the 100 sequence. Force giver, force impactor, enforcer is the gravity, and make simultaneous revolution on top of each other, having a sequence. I love it. So, last summary. 100 spheres by the ranking of mass. First one, the biggest. Second, third, having smaller. The 100th, having the smallest. Mass ranking 100 spheres. 99 revolutions. Those orbits of revolutions are linked, chained, having a sequence by the gravity. Those are simultaneously revolving in each other, interact, interfere, intersect. For what? Just inter, like a stellar inter. Meaning it acts upon each other. And even interesting, when the trajectory makes not only in circular, in 2D, 2-dimension, but when the other trajectory makes the vertical line compared to the parallel to the 90-degree, having exact vertical line, horizontal to vertical, those are combined, 2D plus 2D, the same space, having 3D, like a bullet travels on the air, through the air, by having spiral form as to make a stabilization of its trajectory, its motion. The big sphere does exactly as the bullet. Like just as a trajectory as the spring on your house, on your lab, on your school does. Spring having trajectory like a worm, spiral around, Okay? And if we think like a superposition of simpler dimensions to higher dimension, simple units for its combination making higher structure, advanced logic network, the linear form of trajectory is imposed again upon the circle, another 2D. So stretch that linear spring and meet the one end of a spring to the other end and face, making a, what do you call it in Russian, tokamak? Tokamak. But, as you imagine, a donut, making a donut by a spring. 3D trajectory is having 2D orbit. How interesting it is. 3D spiral trajectory is having around its orbit of 2D sphere. It is not just a linear 3D motion. Its motion, 3D motion, is imposed upon the 2D circular trajectory orbit. How interesting it is. 3D sphere is orbiting 3D trajectory. Wow. 3D sphere is a 3D cheese ball, like a baseball, is orbiting 3D trajectory like a bullet having a spiral, and even its 3D trajectory is circling around the 2D, meaning its first start and the end meets directly, okay? It makes a circle. 3D ball is having a 3D trajectory, which is having a 2D orbit. Superposition of revolution, not just a sequential chain, but 3D sphere is having a 3D trajectory like a spring, and like a donut, its trajectory is having a phased infinite circulation orbit. Its revolution is made by the 3D sphere, 3D trajectory. I love it. Imagine 3D ball. 3D ball is having a 3D trajectory, even having a rotation. It's just a superposition complexion. 3D ball rotates itself and revolves 3D trajectory. 3D ball, Earth. Rotation, Earth's rotation. 3D trajectory as exactly it does right now. And it goes 2D circulation as it revolves around the sun. This highly complex trajectory is exactly what the Earth is doing at any time, any now, okay? 3D sphere corresponding to Earth, 2 rotation, Earth's rotation, 3D sphere, Earth, rotation, Earth's rotation, and 3D spiral trajectory as it revolves around the sun, and sun revolves around the higher boys, 3D, and it's one revolution, 365 days of revolution cycle is made on the 2D circle. I love it. As I've said, having a superposed axis, another axis inflicted upon each other at the same space, 2D plus 2D having a 3D, but it must happen when there is a 3 balls superposing, chaining each other. First one is holding its static still. Second one revolving around. And third one revolving around that which is revolving the another one. Meaning those 2D, okay? 2D circular motion is added another 2D circular motion, meaning on that single term point, it makes a 3D spiral on the 2D circulation motion. I really love it. Exactly the Earth is doing now. Mathematics is the logic. So, seemingly and really is very complex. 3D sphere corresponding to Earth, rotation corresponding to Earth's rotation, 3D trajectory as Earth rotates the sun, revolves around the sun revolves around the higher boy, and making its 3D trajectory, spiral trajectory, closing the end, circular motion, 365 days of period for its full one revolution in 2D circle, which is the year of an Earth. Wow, that is a fantastic one. And that spiral 3D trajectory goes around again. Another 2D circulation is happening when at least there is 3 boys. Biggest boy holding still, second boy revolving around, third boy revolving around the second one. While doing so, it revolves around the first one, meaning 2D circulation goes around 3D. If its motion is vertical, it is spiral. If its motion is parallel, it's just a superposition of circles to the another circle. Having a big circle and it's on its every dots, every points of circumference makes it smaller circles located superposed upon it. Okay. And what happens when there's a fourth one? Fourth one revolves 2D and is revolved by 3D. And again, it does. Let's imagine. Fourth one revolves around the third one. And doing so, revolving the second one. And doing so, it is just a curly hair, okay? So adding just in regular structure of 3D can make a 4D, okay? For what else would that be? 4D. Can you imagine a 4D? Fourth one revolves the third one around in a circular 2D form. And while doing so, since third one goes around second one, again, its 2D motion goes another 2D. And the second one goes another one. The first one goes another 2D. 2D plus 2D is 3D. And 3D plus 1D is 4D. Can it be regarded as having a 4D, four-dimensional revolution for its orbit? Make the line of every trajectory of orbit. Okay. Meaning the 2D circular motion is having another circular motion. 2D plus 2D in 3D, curly, which is just happening like when a man having long hair is binding its long hair by a rubber boys, which has a curly rubber, okay, curly, and exactly like the form, 2D circular motion meets the end to the other end, having another 2D opposed. It eventually turns into 3D. And when its motion is not vertical, it's just as I just said, having a bigger orbit, revolution orbit, and upon that orbit, having each and every dots that are consisting that circumference, adding another smaller orbits, circles upon it. Not 3D, just a 2D upon 2D. But when it is vertical, it is 3D. And that 3D revolves again another revolution is that in Korean we call that the fucking curly trajectory. This hair string, yeah, that hair string trajectory is going another 2D revolution. Oh bloody hell! 3D sphere rotates itself and making a revolution, meaning 3D sphere rotates itself and making a revolution around the other one, and 3D sphere rotates, making a revolution, and making another revolution. When there's a two revolutions proposed, it makes a 3D, 2D plus 2D doing simultaneously in the same space makes 3D. And 3D, that spiral projectile trajectory is having a circular form, and even that 3D circular trajectory revolves around the another one. Oh bloody hell. What do we call for? As I'm drawing right now, just simply, you're having a hair string and just revolve just one circle. That is exactly what it is. 3D sphere is there, and it rotates itself, and that revolves another one, which revolves another one, and which revolves another one. Revolving another one, at the first time, it's just a circular motion, and that revolving is superposed, chained by the another revolution orbit. It makes a 3D, and that 3D curly trajectory orbit is facing, chained by another orbit. Wow. The Earth's motion is a combination of simpler forces. 3D sphere rotates itself, and revolution, and in revolution. First revolution, 2D circle, just it is. Second revolution, when it is superposed. A 3D revolution having a spiral form in just two superposed orbits, two superposed revolution makes a spiral trajectory, okay? And there's another one, meaning 3 superposed revolution chained by gravity. That 3 sequenced superposed revolution, meaning that makes that spiral trajectory having another 2D circular orbit. And when there is a 4 sequential revolution, that spiral hair string is going again another circle. Oh fucking hell. That is going another circle. 2D, 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 2D. 4 sequential revolution is the sum of 2D circle by 4 times. Okay? Each revolution is 2D circle, and 4 sequenced revolution is 4 circles chained. Those 2D revolution is sequenced. Not sequenced, but rather superposed. 2D revolution. revolution, revolution, but having another revolution, but having another revolution. Okay? Exactly what Earth does right now. Revolves, 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 revolves. Revolves, 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 revolves. One revolution, 2D. Second revolution, spiral, 3D. Third revolution, that spiral 3D is having another circle, 4D. Fourth revolution. Oh, fucking hell. Oh, fucking hell. Compound. The power of compounding, like a German word does.